Hi guys, and welcome to Paws Gaming. This is Phoenix here, and today we are going to do a quick video and talk about how to set up your soul terminal for producers so that you can passively generate different resources that normally you would have to leave the dinos out in order to be able to have like farms of. So don't forget, if you enjoy the video, hit the like button, press subscribe, and click that bell notification icon so that you can get notified as we upload additional videos. And let's get right to it. So you've got your soul terminal down. You can see here this one is empty, doesn't have anything in it. I'm going to go ahead before we do anything else, and we're going to label this one for producer so that we know that I don't want to pull any dinos out of it in the future, and that so that my tribe mates also know not to pull any of these dinos out. You can use the sliders here to make whatever color you want. You've got 2 lines of text. Plenty of room up there to actually leave a message. So there we go. Also, real quick, we'll throw into this video, in case you didn't know, you can change the look of your terminal. Hit options, and right here where it says modern, if you change it, one click changes it over to primitive, so it looks like a little bookshelf thing. You can hit that button again, and it'll make it look like a vault, and you can see through each one of those that your text will still show. Those are your 3 options, and they're rotated through right here. Alright, so now we've got our terminal set up. As far as it's here, it's named. Nobody's going to take the dinos. I'm going to go ahead. You can see I've got a bunch of dinos in here. They're not all going in here. Some of these are for something else we're going to do next. After this, we've got some bassies. We're going to stick those in there because they make oil. We've got some dung beetles. Of course, dodos. And sheep. Now, depending on how much of what you're needing, you may want to separate these and have more or less of something. I'm just trying to throw a mix in here so that you get a feel for what can and can't be done. We need some Agitinias too. I don't think I have any over here. Alright, so let me grab some real quick. I'll be right back. Alright, and we're back. And let's just go ahead and stick those over there. Alright, so we've got all the things here. Now, you want those to produce eggs, to produce the snails to produce paste, the whales to produce oil, the dung beetles to turn poop into fertilizer, the dodos to produce poop for them, anything that will produce eggs to produce eggs, sheep to produce wool. This terminal will do all of those things. So press and hold E to access your radial menu. Go into options, and automation is what you want. We've talked about the newborn auto trap before. If you're not sure how to set up your terminal in order to use it in breeding, then I will post a link to the video in a card up here. That way you can go check that out. But today we're going to go into automation, and you got this lovely little UI pop-up that comes up with all of these wonderful options. So we looked at these fertilized options in the breeding video. So for this purpose, we're going to ignore those entirely, and we're going to look at all of this other stuff. So unfertilized eggs, absolutely, we've got lots of dodos and things in there. passive generation. This is the key one, guys. This is the one that will allow the dinos to produce any of those lovely resources that normally you have to have them out. You have to have them on wander, in a pen, or on a leash, or what have you for them to produce. So you want to check that. Poop generation, we do want that because we're going to use this for fertilizer. The miscellaneous poop is another one of those, like, you have dinos that poop things that are not poop. Beetles convert poop. Yes, please, we need fertilizer. We don't have any iguanodons in there, but if you put them in there, they will seed your fruit. And what this does for you is if you need additional seeds while you're trying to get your crops going, or if you want to use seeds for your gachas, then you can stick iguanodons in there and a bunch of fruit and things, and it'll turn them into seeds for you. Sheep wool generation. We have sheep. We want them to make wool. If you were to put a queen bee in here, she could passively generate honey for you in this terminal. You just need to check that box there. Now, for this particular setup, this isn't the only thing that you want to do. The check boxes are nice, easy, straightforward, but we need to do a little more adjusting so that our terminal doesn't slot cap itself and then not be able to continue to produce for us. So we're going to come over here to this one, poop slot allotments. There's not any humans in there. It's not going to pick up off the ground. 0. Now, if you know you don't have dinos for a certain size, like we don't have anything that's going to produce massive in that terminal, 0. Or you can just pick a number and go down and randomly set them. I prefer to keep my numbers a little on the lower side so that it has room to do everything, because this doesn't allow for like the fertilizer and it doesn't stack. So you need to make sure that you keep yourself slots open for that. The terminal has a capacity of 300 slots. I've used up 60 of those just with the dinos that I've placed in there. So we're already getting close to having a third of those used up. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to change all of these down to 50 apiece. So that's 150 there, plus the 60 dinos is 210. Are you with me so far? So we've only got 90 slots left for production. Well, I need to save a couple of slots for oil and for wool and for paste and those kinds of things. So I'm going to change this one also to 50. I lied. I'm going to change it to 70 because that still leaves me 20 slots for all of those other resources. So I'm guaranteed, the point to that is now I'm guaranteed that the fertilizer and the poop is not going to use up so many spaces that it doesn't allow the terminal to continue to produce this other stuff that I really want from it. The other great thing about this terminal is going to be this bottom box here. This is a whole nother level of automation that you can set up. We can have the terminal auto push owl pellets if there are owls in the terminals, 2 gachas if we have gachas, and fertilizer to crop plots if we have dung beetles and dinos making poop and dung beetles turning that poop into fertilizer in the terminal. Then the terminal will push fertilizer to crop plots within range. Now, with these settings, you got to think about the same kind of thing. You need to make sure that whatever you set this number to does not slot cap where it's going. Do you follow? So if I'm using small crop plots, they have a capacity of like 10. So if I set this, way up here, then I'm gonna slot cap those crop plots. Now the problem with slot capping crop plots is that once they are slot capped, then they will no longer produce past their current seating. That means you have to go in, you'll have to move some shit out, and then you'll have to reseed that crop plot by hand. It won't automatically seed if you have all of that set up properly. So what you want to do is go to your smallest crop plot that you have put out, however many slots that have. If it's a small, that'll be 10. If it's a large, I believe it's 20. And set this to a minimum of 2 slots less than that. That's 1 slot for seed and 1 slot for the fruit or the veggie or the whatever it's supposed to be producing for you. So at minimum 2 below, just that way that your automation can keep running and you're not going to have to go mess with it. So we're going to assume that it's a large crop, that all we have is large crop plots. I'm going to set this to 17. That just gives myself an extra slot. I'd rather have one that never gets filled than have to worry about it screwing up the automation. And the same thing with the pellets per gacha. You want to find you a happy medium balance here. Once you have all of the checks and all of the sliders where you want them, you're just going to click the X button and walk away. When you come back to it in just a little bit, your 60 of 300 will have gone up because your dodos will be producing poop, and eggs, and your sheep will be producing wool. And then once there's enough poop in there, the dung beetles will start turning it into fertilizer. They will also, based on the animals that are in this terminal in particular, it will produce cementing paste, oil, organic polymer, and wool and fertilizer based off of this particular animal selection. Now, in order for them to produce eggs, you want to load up on mostly females because they're the egg layers, but if you don't have a male in there, then it can mess with your egg laying. So just make sure that you do have at least a male somewhere in there. And that's about it. I'll cut out for just a minute and then show you. Oh, well, actually, we're just going to jump back in. You see that, how it jumped up to 71? Boom. We've got achatina paste, dodo eggs, oil, some poop, and some wool. And all we had to do was click a few buttons and we can walk away from it and it will just continue to produce. Now the next step in this is every so often take out your S Plus Omni tool. Okay, that's what this is S Plus Omni tool. And if you press and hold R, it'll bring up your radial selection menu. You want this dedicated storage button, provided that you have dedicated storage set up, which we do right back here. Well, maybe. Okay. If you have dedicated storage set up, then your producer's terminal, just every so often, you walk up to it and you just left click. And everything that you have a dedicated storage box for, like the paste and the wool and all of that, it will just push it into those boxes for you. No fuss, no muss. Walk by and click every few days or every week or two. And it is your own little self-automated farm that you can set up once and leave alone. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. More content to come soon. Thank you for watching. Bye.